Lalo, THR here. What's going down, everybody? I hope you're doing fantastic. It's been a crazy month for me, and overall a really crazy year. Quite frankly, 2023. It's gonna go down, man, in the history books for me as one of the years of all time. Let's put it like that. But nonetheless, today I have a couple of audio clip recordings. You're gonna hear me react and respond to different things, particularly in the world of AEW. We got some news, of course. A lot of this stuff is kind of outdated already, but I had to react to the news of, for instance, Impact Wrestling becoming TNA all over again. Why? Why? That's the big question there. Why? We'll get into that. Of course, also the news regarding WWE and their TV deals. Monday Night Raw potentially needing a new home, and potentially Warner Brothers Discovery, the home of AEW, being interested in Monday Night Raw. And the state overall of AEW right now, not in the best shape. Not in the best shape, at least in my opinion. Don't say that on the AEW subreddit though. That'll be a travesty. But yeah, man. So we're gonna get into a whole bunch of things throughout this episode here. I also got some Talkin Boxin, Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. You know I had to react to that as soon as that happened. Let's go ahead and lead in with that. Actually, Talkin Boxin. Tyson Fury narrowly escapes by with a split decision victory over Francis Ngannou. In fact, the last judge had Fury ahead by one single point. And needless to say, controversy is running amok as it pertains to this result. Tyson Fury got dropped. He got dropped. It was a grazing punch, too, that landed on Tyson Fury's bald head. And he fell to the mat, and the look on his face. I mean, there's all kind of memes already being, used. That his face is being used as a template for all kind of memes now. I mean, he looked like I don't even know, a deer caught in the headlights. He looked like if you forgot to set your alarm clock in the morning and now you're late for work. That's one of the memes there. I mean, that was classic. And, Francis Ngannou, I am proud of this man. Because he may have lost this fight. He won in a lot of people's eyes. But he may have lost this fight officially. But, man, he was live. He was game. He didn't come just to collect a paycheck like a lot of MMA guys, because they all know they're gonna lose to a boxer, and that's realistic. It's like if a boxer goes to an MMA octagon and fights with MMA rules, they know damn well they're gonna lose too, And I don't even think that's ever happened before. A boxer actually going inside the octagon, at least a boxer that's full time and just doing it for a one-off. I don't think I've ever seen that, but Francis Ngannou, man, he really earned my respect. I never seen Francis fight that much, really, and I've seen highlights of him, but I never followed him, and that's just because I'm not really a big MMA guy. I'm not a UFC fan. I used to watch The Ultimate Fighter way back in the day when they had Diego Sanchez and Forrest Griffin and cats like that, and I really just watched it for the drama that happened on the show. Like they would throw chingazos and stuff in their living quarters, and I like that element. Like it had like a reality TV element, but with fights. So that's really why I watched it. And it was a cool concept. The winner of that show would then go on to get a UFC contract and get a fight. And I seen it. I seen like with Diego Sanchez and Forrest Griffin and all them cats, but Josh Koscheck or something like that. That dude was a little tank. But I never been a big MMA fan, but I regret not ever really following Francis Ngannou's career, because this guy, you want to talk about tank, you want to talk about monster. This man is fucking frightening, man. This man, he's like prime Mike Tyson. That's the vibe I get from him. He gives me prime Mike Tyson vibes in his build, his body type, and his explosiveness. And you best believe I would love to see Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou run it back. The question is, will they run it back? The question is, what is Tyson Fury even going to do now? Because he had a contract signed, I believe, to fight Usyk in the heavyweight division. I think in January. I don't even know when that fight was supposed to take place. See, this was supposed to be just a tune-up exhibition type of deal for Tyson Fury. And he ended up going life and death with a fucking MMA fighter that's never had a pro boxing match in his life up to that point. So it's interesting. And a lot of people are speculating that Tyson Fury is just going to hang him up. Like, he ain't even going to fight again after this. And I quite frankly, I wouldn't blame him. You know what I mean? Y'all could call him what you want to call him, but it would be smart if he just hung him up. Because he took home a big paycheck. Saudi Arabia. Come on, man. They paid this man handsomely, and I mean, he doesn't have to fight anymore. He's got nothing to prove. He's an undefeated fighter. He could be the second heavyweight fighter in history to retire undefeated, the first being Rocky Marciano, which is incredible. But yeah, man, I just want to say, let's not pretend that Tyson Fury hasn't been vulnerable before against what is perceived to be lesser opposition, because I'll never forget, like, leading up to the first Deontay Wilder fight, I believe it was, Tyson Fury fought some unknown German boxer. I cannot remember the man's name. It escapes me. I cannot remember the man's name, but he went life and death with him leading up to the first Deontay Wilder fight. I'll never forget it. I think Tyson Fury's eye was closed shut. He was bleeding profusely. I mean, and this German dude was an unknown. I mean, at least I never heard of his ass. I don't even remember his name. So let's not pretend that this is the first time Tyson Fury looks vulnerable in a fight. That's actually what makes Tyson Fury an exciting fighter, is the fact that he's great, but he has been vulnerable. And that's what makes him entertaining to watch. And I mean, obviously, pretty much his fights with Deontay Wilder made him a household name. Let's be honest. And yeah, man. So let's not pretend though that this is the first time he's ever looked vulnerable and he's been in trouble. He's been in trouble before. And you gotta imagine that fighting Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury probably didn't take this fight seriously. I would have to imagine, at least. And listen, I'm not making excuses. I'm not making excuses for Tyson Fury. I am just stating facts here. These are facts that Tyson Fury has been vulnerable before. These are facts that this was an exhibition bout that Tyson Fury more than likely didn't really take that seriously. Come on, man. So you have so many people now shitting all over Tyson Fury and, saying, no, he was always, a terrible fighter and he's a joke and this and that. Like, come on, bro. There's always going to be a time, too, when good fighters have off nights, bad nights in boxing. It's just one of those things, too. It happens. And I know it does sound like I'm just making excuses now for for Tyson Fury. I don't know. I guess I am. I don't know, man. I like Tyson Fury, though. I do. I think his story is incredible. If you've actually read about his outside of the ring issues that he's had with mental health in particular, and I admire him for being like an advocate for mental health. Overcoming depression and anxiety and, those type of things. Like, that's something that is kind of overlooked, in sports and stuff. And just in general, those things are kind of overlooked. So I like that he's a champion for mental health improvement and things of that nature. And he is a good fighter, man. Tyson Fury, he's a unique fighter. The dude he has no business being able to move around the way he does, being as big as he is. Come on, man. That is ridiculous. So, Only time will tell what's next for Tyson Fury and what's next for Francis Ngannou. Man, I think Francis Ngannou should continue fighting in the sport of boxing, where he will make way more money than he ever made in the UFC. So Impact Wrestling is going back to being called TNA Wrestling. And this is a step backward in my opinion. And I say that because not only is TNA like kind of a trashy, it's kind of a trashy name. Those initials are kind of trashy, let's be honest. TNA. And the whole concept behind it in the beginning was to capitalize off of a dead era known as the Attitude Era. And they say that TNA stands for Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. But we all know what TNA really means and what it's long been meaning, and they're going back to TNA. Listen, I could get behind this rebranding only if they bring back the six-sided ring. Bring back the six-sided ring, bring back Mike Tenay. I don't know if Mike Tenay is currently an announcer for Impact. I don't think so. Bring back Mike Tenay and make it a six-sided ring. Then I could get behind it, kind of. Do something big with Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian too. Major throwbacks to TNA Wrestling. But if they don't do any of that, it's nothing but a name change that don't really mean anything. And I say that as somebody who thinks Impact actually has a lot of potential. They've been making a lot of noise lately. I mean, I heard Bound for Glory was a banger. And, there's a lot of rumors of CM Punk, going to TNA. That now that we know he's WWE don't want his ass back. So there's all kind of rumors that he's going to go to TNA. Will Ospreay possibly going to TNA on a permanent basis. So, TNA or Impact / TNA soon to be, I believe January 21st or 24th, I want to say. They're going to officially go back to being called TNA. But they've been making noise lately, whatever you want to call them. They've been making noise lately. Me personally, I'm more impartial to MLW. I really think, as far as, who's the number 3 wrestling promotion in North America, obviously WWE is number 1. AEW is number 2 automatically, by proxy. But number 3 is a long been hailed as Impact Wrestling, as the 3rd major wrestling brand. But in my opinion, I think MLW is cooler than Impact. I'm not going to say better. I'm going to say cooler. Because I just think Major League Wrestling, like that just sounds like a cool name. And they've had a long history of producing very, very good talents who end up going on to becoming MJF. MJF came from MLW. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people that don't even know, but MJF, he's not an AEW original. MJF came from MLW. I know that I think Ricky Starks as well had a stint in MLW. Swerve Strickland, he was the champion on MLW when I was watching at the time as well. I'll never forget, Swerve had like a banger with Roosh, I believe. I'm pretty sure him and Roosh had a fucking banger. Swerve Strickland, MLW original. Roosh, they were killing it, man. Like right before the pandemic hit, MLW was killing it. They were crushing with guys like La Parca, Roosh, Swerve Strickland. They even what's his name, dude? Even Teddy Hart, ever the controversial figure. Even he was killing it in MLW as the middleweight champion. I thought it was so cool how he brought his cat to the ring with him. I mean, dude, MLW was just killing it, man. And I think MLW actually has more potential than Impact Wrestling, to be honest, to be a legit 3rd brand alternative. But that doesn't even matter what I think, because now I also come to find out that NWA is now going on the CW network. which is huge. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the CW network, that used to be the home of SmackDown at one point, I believe. I mean, that's a big network. That is a big network. And the fact that they picked up NWA, that's got to tell you that pro wrestling is really hot right now, and it's on demand. And you got to give credit to AEW for this, because without AEW, I just don't think wrestling would be as hot as it is right now. I don't think WWE would be firing on all the cylinders that it's firing on right now. So pro wrestling in general is in a great stage right now. And, the fact that CW picked up NWA TV, that is incredible. That is incredible for them. I don't really watch NWA, but I'll probably check out like their first episode or so to kind of gauge where they're at. But yeah, man, to me, MLW is a very viable third brand if they could only get a good TV network. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Court Bauer, the head honcho of MLW, he's in litigation right now, filing a lawsuit against WWE because of the fact that WWE have sabotaged their negotiations for a streaming deal, I think with Tubi TV, and they were supposed to be on Vice TV as well, like a weekly TV show on Vice TV, and that didn't go through, and they point the blame at WWE, And WWE has also tampered with their contracts, trying to lure in their talents and stuff, supposedly, allegedly, let's say. So, but yeah, man, as far as Impact, again, going back to TNA, for me, it's just not going to work unless they bring back that six-sided ring, rehire Mike Tenay, and do some major things with Kazarian and Christopher Daniels for a short while, to kind of relive those TNA glory days. It would be a nice throwback. And, Sting, he's not going to retire until 2024. It's official. Revolution 2024. Have Sting make an appearance on Impact, man, on TNA Impact. That'd be a nice throwback as well. What's Kurt Angle doing these days? Is he in WWE still? Is he a producer there now? If not, I would bring in Kurt Angle too. Have him in a guest general manager type of deal or something. Really give it that TNA feeling from 2009 to 2012 or whatever, when TNA was really hot at that point. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it with that. I wish them the best. Hopefully they get good again. Just going back to that NWA CW network news. That is no longer the case. Because apparently NWA had a pay-per-view recently where they had a cocaine angle, literally, with James Mitchell and some other jabronis in an angle acting like they're snorting cocaine, man, and doing various other extracurricular activities. And this comes on the heels of them getting a potential big network deal to air NWA Power, the flagship show for NWA on the CW network. The CW network execs caught wind of that cocaine angle and they noped out. Rightfully so. They said, nope, this company clearly lacks judgment and responsibility and situational awareness. We're not going to go through with it. So now it's being discussed that NWA Power, as well as a reality TV show of sorts that NWA has going down. I think it mainly pertains to Billy Corgan, and he's supposed to be getting married or something like that, so they want to air the wedding. This is kind of surprising to me that Billy Corgan is still considered a big celebrity. I mean, I know he was big back in the 90s with the Smashing Pumpkins. I'm a fan. I like some Smashing Pumpkins song, that 1979, and what's that song that I don't know. They have a lot of good songs though. That was that I'm still just a rat in a cage. Whatever, man. Smashing Pumpkins. They do got a lot of good songs though. That's not even the song I was thinking of either. There's another song that I like from them. But anyway, yeah, so it appears that now Power and the reality show will be relegated to the CW app, which I guess, every damn TV channel has to have its own app now. And yeah, that's terrible news for Billy Corgan. He's sniffing, he's snorting some of that soda and mad as hell. He's raging. He's coke raging right now. That sucks, man. And CW upgraded with NXT because now it also comes out in the news that NXT has jumped ship to the CW network. They got the rights there, and back in the day, the rated R superstar Edge, he had many nicknames. Another nickname he had was the Ultimate Opportunist or something like that. And bro, that's WWE. They are the ultimate opportunists because they seen what happened with NWA and they thought to themselves, you know what, the CW was interested in a wrestling show. Hell, it seems like NWA fucked themselves. Let's go ahead and put our name into the hat. See if we could get a deal with the CW for NXT. And bam, here we are. So ladies and gentlemen, Monday Night Raw still needs a home. SmackDown is going to the USA Network. NXT going to the CW. We still have yet to find out where Raw goes. And it's going to be interesting. And damn, that sucks about NWA though. But they did it to themselves. Switching gears, let's go ahead and talk a little pro wrestling now. I just want to talk about MJF versus Kenny Omega. Because yes, I'm one of those people that is complaining about that match happening on Saturday night's Collision. And I know, listen, I get where the pundits are coming from and the people who are saying, oh, MJF versus Kenny Omega, that's a banger. How can you even complain about getting that match on free TV? Listen, man, I have 2 floor seat tickets to AEW Full Gear, okay, going down at the Great Western Forum, now known as the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. And so far, the only match that is being linked up to that event is MJF versus Jay White for the world title. Now, listen, Jay White, I'm sure he's a good wrestler. I'm sure he's a great wrestler in his own right. I don't know a whole lot about him. I don't watch Japanese stuff. I don't watch NJPW. But let me just tell you right now, MJF versus Kenny Omega, that is a way more appealing main event than MJF versus Jay White for the world title. Okay? And if MJF versus Kenny Omega had been announced for Full Gear instead of the Jay White match, bro, I would be ecstatic right now. But I'm not. And I gotta be honest, I'm not really excited for Full Gear thus far. I mean, I know that, there's still a bunch of pending announcements for the event and everything. And, one thing I've noticed about AEW is when it comes to their pay-per-views, not only do they keep things under wraps, but as it turns out, the pay-per-views that you have the least expectations for, they end up being classics. You know what I mean? They end up overperforming. Especially when there's like very little build or not very good build and whatnot. But man, I'm just envious, man, that, people are going to get to go to Collision and see Kenny Omega versus MJF for free, or not for free, the people that are there live, but for the rest of us watching on TV. And meanwhile, I paid pretty good money for 2 floor seat tickets to Full Gear. And the match we're getting is MJF versus Jay White. So you cannot tell me not to complain. I'm just going to say it. You cannot tell me not to complain, okay? Because that's come on, man. That don't make no damn sense. MJF versus Jay White is a match for Collision. That's a match for Rampage, dog. MJF versus Kenny Omega, that is a pay-per-view main event. And so, of course, I'm going to complain. I'm going to watch the match, of course, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. I'm sure it's going to be a match that has an ending that can be revisited, like I'm sure they're going to leave opportunities open for that match to be revisited at some point down the line. But it just, to me, honestly, as somebody who has 2 tickets to a pay-per-view event coming up next month, in a few weeks rather, it just don't make no sense to me, man. Because that match would have been way better for Full Gear, you know. And that's just me. That's just me. But again, I'm sure it's gonna be a great match. I'm sure that it's also going to further the many different moving parts in MJF's storyline right now, and his character growth and his character arc and everything. But man, when I heard that, I couldn't help but, you know, think the way I'm thinking, because so far I'm not that excited for Full Gear. I gotta be honest. I mean, I'm excited to be there, but there really isn't any matches thus far that I'm like, oh man, I cannot wait to see that one. You know, MJF again. And here's another thing, Jay White. You know, his promos that he's been cutting lately on MJF and stuff, he's just been saying a whole lot of nothing, man. His promos have been very generic, just the you know, the quintessential heel promo of, oh, I'm gonna take the title from you, this title means everything to you, and I'm gonna take it. And he did take it, he stole it. And I mean, but he's not impressing me at all. Juice Robinson is more impressive to me than Jay White, as far as a personality, as far as a character. I don't see nothing special in Jay White, and I never did, even before he got put into this major program with MJF. I don't see anything special in that guy. He kind of looks like Adam Cole. He's a good-looking cat, and I'm sure he could go in the ring, you know. But I don't really see nothing special about him, though. I don't. And he's been exposed, in my opinion, as well, in these promos with MJF, because he does these long, you know, boring promos where he's not really saying anything. You know, he's just going on and on and on, yelling into that microphone. But he's saying a whole lot of nothing and being generic. I would have loved to see Kenny Omega versus MJF instead of MJF versus Jay White. And of course, Kenny Omega and MJF killed it. A match of the year candidate. They didn't even need a table spot. They absolutely crushed. And the match was given away on free TV. Instead of being put on a main event pay-per-view card, which I have tickets for. I just gotta say it, every single clip, every single audio that I record, I gotta mention it. I got 2 floor seat tickets to AEW Full Gear, y'all. But instead of Kenny Omega versus MJF for the world title, we're getting MJF versus Jay White. And there's nothing appealing about this match to me. And I'm sorry. You know, I get downvoted on Reddit. I get rebuked on Reddit by all the nerds on the AEW subreddit. But I don't see nothing special about this match. I don't see nothing special in Jay White. And, you know, I know he's a good worker. I know, I see it. You know, I don't see nothing special in him, though. You know, just being a good wrestler doesn't make you special. There's tons of good wrestlers. But if you can actually captivate my full attention and teleport me to another time and place with just your mere mannerisms, your promo work, your storytelling, with your physicality, with your facial expressions, your character, that's special to me. And you combine that with good wrestling, that's special. But just putting on a bunch of, you know, good matches over and over, but you're not really doing nothing. You're not creating anything. You're not doing any character building. What's Jay White's character? Oh, he's the Bullet Club, Bang Bang Gang leader, whatever. He's holding the AEW title hostage because that means everything to MJF. So he's taking something that means everything to MJ. Okay, like, how is this compelling? Like, how? This is like so run-of-the-mill heel shit. Like, this is nothing special, man. What Christian Cage is doing right now is special. What Swerve was doing before that terrible promo on a baby home invasion angle, committing a felony on national TV Before that, what Swerve was doing was special. What Tony Storm was doing as Timeless, Tony Storm was special before they ran that into the ground by putting her shit in picture every commercial break and just doing a whole lot of nothing now. AEW, like they take one big step forward, but then they take multiple steps backward in everything, dude. Everything. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it, man. Like, this company, it has so much potential to be so great. It really does. They have the talent. They have the TV. But they just have incompetent ass booking, man. And if anybody can't see that at this point, you're lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself if you cannot see it at this point. There is an incompetent ass booker running the show. The showrunner is incompetent. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And again, I'm going to run it back for the people in the back. If you cannot see it, you're lying to yourself, dog, or you're blind. Because there's no way anybody could be watching Dynamite, these last 3 Dynamites, and say to yourself, man, this is a really good show. This is compelling. They got MJF running around like a little bitch, asking people to help him backstage, getting manhandled by Wardlow, who's been irrelevant for like almost 2 years now. I mean, what the hell are we doing, man? I mean... I mean, it's not that deep, but I'm passionate about this, man, because I really love AEW. And I want to see it thrive and take it to the next level, to infinity and beyond. No Buzz Lightyear. But, man, the way they're headed right now, like, I said it on Reddit, and not only did I get downvoted, my shit got deleted by a moderator. But I'm going to say it again on my own podcast. I guess that's why I have my own podcast, so I can't be moderated. Bro, it wouldn't surprise me if AEW folded, bro. Like, within the next 3 years. Maybe less. It wouldn't surprise me, bro. And what I mean by fold, not like the company's gonna go out of business because they don't have money or anything like that. They have a freaking billionaire, that has everything taken care of. But, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Warner Media, Discovery, whatever they're called now, it wouldn't surprise me if they dropped like Dynamite, Rampage, Collision from TBS, TNT. It would not surprise me, dog. And then Tony Khan needs to find another home. And who knows what network would even want AEW programming. When they see that it's... I mean, not like they would struggle to find a home, but I promise you they will not find another network as big or bigger than Warner Media, Discovery, TNT, TBS. Like, they would have to... I don't know what they would do. Honestly, I don't know where they would go. But it would not surprise me at all. That's what I mean when I say it wouldn't surprise me if AEW folded. Because without TV, it means nothing. You know what I mean? Without TV time, your company doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? We all seen that with WCW. Like, Vince McMahon bought WCW for like fucking $200, dog. Peanuts. I mean, because without Nitro, without Thunder, without any TV time, that shit's worthless. You're just buying a library. That's all you're buying, is a tape library. And but yeah, man, I mean, AEW is just not, and I'm not a doom and gloomer, because I've been seeing that, trending too lately, as everybody, we need to stop the doom and gloom bullshit with AEW. Like, bro, it's not about doom and gloom. It's not about that. It's about passionate fans who know that this shit could be way fucking better than what it is, man. This shit could be way better, man. And when I look around, especially like on the AEW subreddit, I plug that place so much because it's actually bizarre to me. Like, honestly, I'm not even joking. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, that place is, like, it's a hive mind. Like, it really is. Like, everybody, it's like North Korea. That's the AEW subreddit. It's like North Korea, and Tony Khan is Kim Jong Un. You know what I mean? And all the users are the people like there. You cannot have any kind of negative opinion on there. You can't have any kind of constructive criticism or any kind of feeling that goes against their whole state of mind, which is that everything is perfect, everything is great, everything is tremendous in AEW, everything, it's the best, everything. Like they're so like delusional, man. Delusional. It's like crazy. I cannot get over it. I really can't. But yeah, man. I mean, it's not about doom and gloom. It's just about AEW could be way better. And I don't know how I got into this rant from from Kenny Omega and MJF. I mean, because that's a dumb thing to give that match away for free. You know what that reminds me of? Giving Kenny Omega and MJF away on fucking Collision live at Mohegan Sun Casino. That reminds me of when WCW gave away Goldberg and Hulk Hogan on Nitro, dog. They gave that shit away on Nitro because they were in Atlanta and, whatever. And Goldberg wins the title on fucking Monday Nitro. Instead of having like at least 2 months build to a big pay-per-view, Goldberg, Hulk Hogan for the world title and selling out a stadium. I mean, like, dude, they could have, I don't know, man. But that's what this reminds me of. Kenny Omega and MJF. It's like WCW giving away Goldberg and Hogan all over again on Nitro. You know what I mean? Very similar. Although Kenny Omega and MJF, they're not as big of a draw as Hogan or Goldberg were, but MJF is pretty big right now. Kenny Omega, The Bucks, oh my God, what happened to the Young Bucks? You want to talk about falling off the face of the earth? Now they're trying to do a heel turn now, clearly, because theirs is not hitting right now. The Young Bucks are so irrelevant, and they're such an afterthought right now. It's crazy. It is crazy, and it really at least it makes me think, like, man, when CM Punk was still there and after the drama, like, dude, it would have been the best thing for the Young Bucks' career if they did business with CM Punk. You know what I mean? If they did that Elite versus CM-FTR matchup that was heavily speculated on happening at Wembley or somewhere. You know what I mean? Like that, dude, that would have been like a rejuvenation for the Young Bucks' career because they haven't been relevant in a very long time. Like, pretty much ever since they dropped the titles to the Lucha Bros way back, in my opinion anyway, like since All Out 2021. Best AEW show in history still, to this day. Yes, even better than Wembley, in my opinion. But the Young Bucks have not been relevant for a long-ass time. A long-ass time. And it actually would have helped them in the long run if they did business with CM Punk instead of, refusing to even meet with him and we'll only meet with him if there can be a whole month without drama or whatever the hell. I mean, just a bunch of little kid stuff, man. Like, and CM Punk too, don't get me wrong, he acted like a little prima donna too, don't get me wrong. I'm not like on the team CM Punk bandwagon here, but like, honestly, CM Punk leaving AEW has been pretty disastrous for the company. It really has. Any way you slice it, if you really look at the product and look at Collision, don't even get me started on Collision. That's a whole nother can of worms. They could put MJF and Kenny Omega on Collision every single week. It's not gonna help that show anymore. That show is done. It's done. Ever since Punk has left, like Collision just has a whole different vibe to it. It's not the same. But yeah, man. MJF and Kenny Omega had a match of the year candidate on free TV. No build, just my streak and blah blah blah, just stupid shit, man. This is AEW right now. Real quickly, I want to pivot back to the MJF Juice Robinson controversy in that angle that is perceived as an anti-Semitic angle, and I'm not pivoting back to it to talk about that again. But I want to talk about controversial angles overall going down in AEW as it now pertains to Swerve Strickland literally invading the home of Adam Page and cutting a terrorizing promo on Adam Page's baby in his crib. Can somebody can somebody explain to me how this is going to help Swerve's career? If you're listening to this via YouTube, in the comment section, you could also tweet me at Lalo_THR, LALO_THR. How in the hell does an angle like this elevate Swerve in any way whatsoever? Because this angle, you know, everybody's talking about the MJF Juice Robinson promo. That's why I wanted to pivot back to that. But nobody's talking about this promo. This is kind of the promo that people are, the angle, I should say. This is the kind of angle people are just sweeping under the rug, turning the other cheek and forgetting it even exists. You know, they use that Men in Black memory eraser thing, whatever it was called. I mean, I don't know what the hell, who in the hell is writing this stuff, because this is out of control. When I seen this angle, I saw it live, and you know what's cool is that I didn't listen to any reviews or anything of Dynamite. So I watched it like cold turkey. Well, I watched it like with blindfolds on, which is, you know, to be honest, that's the best way to actually watch any wrestling show, quite frankly. To watch it going in, you know, not knowing what to expect. But I kind of wish I knew what to expect with this one. Let me tell you, because I was cringing like nonstop. I could not believe what I was seeing. You know, this kind of angle, it does not make Swerve Strickland into a heartless, cold-blooded killer type of villain. This angle makes Swerve Strickland look like a fucking creep, dog. It makes Swerve look creepy. It makes him have go away heat. Like, I don't even want to see this dude on my TV anymore, because he cut a promo on a little baby, dude, in a crib while his parents were away or asleep, or I don't know what the premise of this angle was. I don't know. Adam Page's wife was out of town. She left the baby in its crib. Well, I mean, what the hell? What is this? This is unprecedented, like, for an AEW program. I mean, I know there have been angles kind of like this before. I mean, you know, you want to compare it to Brian Pillman, the loose cannon, you know, doing a home invasion on Stone Cold, or vice versa. I think actually it was Stone Cold that invaded his home, and then he, like, quote unquote shot him. You know, people forget WWE had an issue an apology for that when that went down. Okay, that was like in the mid 90s when that went down. Vince McMahon himself had to come out on camera and apologize for that angle. And AEW doing this one here, y'all are not doing something edgy. Get that through your heads. You're not doing something edgy. You're not doing something unprecedented in a good way. This isn't a bad way, unprecedented. This is, you know, for somebody like Swerve, who's a young stud and has all the potential in the world, and you're gonna embarrass him. You're gonna make him out to be a creep with this fucking angle. I mean, I'm very disappointed, because Swerve Strickland was really hot, man. He was on a hot streak. He beat Adam Page at the pay-per-view, Wrestle Dream. His presentation, his look, everything, it kills. It is prime time. Like, when Swerve comes out, even with Nana dancing right there on the side, Swerve looks like a killer. Like a cold-blooded killer, man. And that's ready for that championship run. And then they give him an angle like this. You know, to me, this is like they take one step forward with Swerve, but then at the same time, they take like 5 steps backward with a dumbass angle like this. I could not believe what I saw. I really couldn't. And the reason I'm like, you know, getting kind of loud, kind of hyperbolic here is because nobody is talking about this. That's what blows my mind. I don't understand it. AEW fans, they have blinders on, dog. Like, especially the AEW subreddit fans, like on the AEW subreddit, they have blinders on, man. They do not see any flaws in anything. You know, Tony Khan could fart in somebody's face on live TV and laugh about it, like Terrence and Phillip on South Park, and the fans would eat it up and be like, "Oh, that was great, Tony Khan, he's funny." See, Like, I don't understand these fans, man. They're like, everything is good, everything is great, everything is awesome. AEW can do no wrong. When you see an angle like this, man, you really gotta sit back and be like, come on, man, that was objectively bad. That was objectively bad. It's not even an opinion. That's not my opinion. I could tell you that's a fact, that angle was fucking terrible. You know, I never seen something like that. You know, a wrestler, you know, going into somebody's house and cutting a promo on a little baby. That shit is dumb, bro. Really, really dumb. And especially considering all of the, like the build. I don't even want to say build, but all of the, like the streak that Swerve has been on, the rhythm, the current rhythm that he's been on, man. He was on a trajectory. He is on a trajectory. I don't even know anymore after that angle. I don't even want to see Swerve anymore. Like, maybe I'm being hyperbolic, I'm being over dramatic, but that angle really turned me off to Swerve Strickland. And I was getting really, really behind him. And that angle just completely killed off my enthusiasm for not only Swerve, but for AEW Creative. You know, I'm going to Full Gear. Coming up November 18th, I'm going in a few weeks. And so far, the only match linked up to that event is MJF and Jay White, even though they gave away MJF and Kenny Omega for free this past Saturday. I don't believe it. But we're getting MJF, Jay White, and it appears we're going to get Sting, which is cool. I'm not going to lie. That's cool. I get to see Sting live. We're going to get to see Sting and Darby and a mystery partner taking on Christian and Luchasaurus and the little kid, man. What's his name? Fucking Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne getting all this TV time and prominent segments, but you got guys like Andrade, Rush, Keith Lee, you know, not getting a lick of TV time. Makes no damn sense at all, any way you slice it. Daniel Garcia beats Bryan Danielson, but Andrade couldn't. That's AEW in a nutshell. That's AEW in a nutshell. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed. And what's not a AEW in a nutshell, we got more cringy ass characters because Max Caster also, similar to Swerve, man. Max Caster was a dope character. I mean, he comes out and spits and buries his opponents ahead of the bout, a la John Cena back in 03. And now they got Max Caster acting like a creep, man. Stalking MJF and stuff. And obviously, I realize these recordings here are all outdated. Because, for instance, you know, MJF, already teamed up with the Acclaimed. And they did their whole thing. If MJF loses, still hasn't gotten his title back. And then he scissors with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass at the end of their match. And but leading up to the match, they had Max Caster acting stupid, man. Like doing this stalker shit with MJF, and like flirting with him, like just being a creep, man. And you know, they justify this because I've been told, at least online, like on the AEW subreddit and whatnot, they say that this is like an inside joke between Max Caster and MJF, that they've been doing this. They've known each other for a long time now. They've worked together on the indies before both of them got famous in AEW, and this is apparently this is a thing between them, that they fuck around with each other. But you know, this is another example of how Tony Khan and you know, and everybody that produces this show, they expect the fans to just automatically be aware of all these little nuts and bolts and you know, all the Japanese cats and all these things. You know, it's like they need to understand that not everybody who watches AEW is a nerd that follows every little thing and researches even shit before that went down before AEW. Like, bro, not everybody is a nerd like that. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure a good chunk of the AEW fan base are nerds, but but not all of us. dude, we're not all privy to everything. You guys gotta explain the shit to us. Like, dude, like they could have done a video package like where they explain how Max Caster and MJF, they go way back, and Excalibur talking at 1,000,000 miles an hour doesn't help anything. It doesn't help anything. And it's just not working. The storytelling overall on these shows is just not working, and they're ruining some of these characters that actually had a lot of potential. Characters like Tony Storm, characters like Max Caster, characters like Swerve Strickland. And yeah, man, it's the woes of AEW continues. But again, people talking about, oh, we need to stop this doom and gloom nonsense with AEW and this and that. AEW is not going anywhere and this and that. Like, no, nobody's saying AEW is gonna go out of business or anything like that. They got a billionaire backing them, so by default, they're never gonna go out of business due to a financial reason. But bro, I mean, people talk about Dynamite and Collision and Rampage getting renewed by WBD like it's a foregone conclusion. It's not. Let me tell you, it is not. And now you even have rumors now that Warner Brothers Discovery is interested in picking up Raw, Monday Night Raw, because Raw needs a new home. It would appear USA got the rights to SmackDown. They'll most likely get the rights to Raw as well. I'm pretty sure they could afford it, but for the time being, it's still up in the air. Again, nothing is set in stone. It's not a foregone conclusion. You never know, man. If WBD were to pick up the rights to Raw, where would that leave AEW? You really think a WWE program is gonna air on Monday, and then AEW programming is gonna continue to air on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays? I just don't think that's going to work. It would be unprecedented, I think, where two different wrestling companies, call one TV network home. That would be unprecedented. But nonetheless, man, nothing is a guarantee. And all we are saying, I'm not being doom and gloom here. All I'm saying is that AEW could be way better than what it is. Than the shit they're giving us. They could do way better. Like, this company has all the potential. It's gotten all kind of like advantages too. Not just potential. Like, the AEW has had so many advantages, dude. Like, things given to them on a silver platter, and they fumbled it every single time. It's out of control. And speaking of out of control, Ric Flair signs a multi-year deal with AEW, 4 years to be exact. And his energy drink, his official energy drink, Woo Energy, the official energy drink of Ric Flair, now becomes the official energy drink of AEW as part of this deal. And that is humongous for Papa Rick, man, for the Nate. That is humongous. The fact that he could strike a deal like this in 2023 is unbelievable. It just speaks to his status as one of the most respected and iconic wrestlers in the business. And I emphasize wrestlers because I do feel that we should probably separate like the artist from the person, if you will. Like, his professional career should be separated from his personal life, because obviously, there's a lot of controversy with Ric Flair, man. And it's one of those things where Ric Flair really is. He's like the Muhammad Ali of wrestling. You know what I mean? To put it in uncertain terms, he's like the Babe Ruth of wrestling. Michael Jordan of wrestling. It's hard to talk about wrestling and its history without mentioning Ric Flair. And he has tarnished his legacy in a lot of ways in his personal life. But I feel like it's kind of unfair, though, to not separate, someone's professional life from their personal life. It's kind of like, I mean, unless you like murdered your whole family, like Chris Benoit status, then I get it. Then I get it. You know, being completely erased from wrestling ethos, from wrestling history, then I get it. But like Ric Flair, I mean, yeah, he's done a lot of dumb shit while intoxicated. I think we all have to a degree. But you know, Ric Flair, he's made a lot of mistakes. He's been intoxicated and you know done things that I'm pretty sure he regrets. And but when I think of Ric Flair, I don't think about that. You know, I mean, call me what you will. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should be thinking about, you know, the stupid shit he's done, you know, in his personal life. But when I think of Ric Flair, man, I think of the limousine riding, jet flying, you know, can't keep these alligators down. You know what I'm saying? I think of the nature boy, dog. I think of Ric Flair. I think of, you know, the 16-time world champ. You know, kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. You know what I'm saying? That's who I think about when I think of Ric Flair. And again, maybe I'm wrong for that. Maybe I'm supposed to, you know, be butthurt all the time and think of what he's done in his personal life. But I don't. I just don't. And I have criticized his personal life too. I have criticized it. You know what I mean? I have a whole episode where I talk about the Dark Side of the Ring episode of Dark Side of the Ring, the plane ride from hell. It was called, and you know, and yeah, man. I mean, I have also, you know, criticized Ric Flair's personal life, you know, and I still don't think about it when I think of Ric Flair. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Now, as far as Ric Flair now being a part of AEW, he's apparently going to be in a managerial role. He's gonna be a non-in-ring character for AEW, and rightfully so. I mean, the dude should not wrestle. He should not take any bumps. I mean, I don't even think Ric Flair should be in any angles where he's touched. You know what I mean? He should be like labeled untouchable. Like nobody could put their hands on him, you know. And go from there. And he's gonna be like in a managerial type of role. He's gonna be escorting, not escorting. He's gonna be accompanying Sting out to the ring during his retirement tour, as Sting will have his retirement match officially at AEW Revolution 2024, which usually goes down in about March, I believe. So in a few months, guys, in a few months, it's not too far. We're already November. Time is just slipping away, man. It's crazy, man. I just can't believe it. The way time just slips away, man. I'm sure Ric Flair can't either. But I want to try that Woo energy. I really want to try it, man, because I mean, you know, I'm kind of an energy drinker. Energy drinker, consumer. I drink a lot of Red Bull and Monster and even Nas and all that type of shit. So, you know, it'd be cool to try something different. I read some of the ingredients in his energy drink. They got lion's mane. So there's like nootropics in there, which help you like focus and help you like get energy and focus and concentration or something like that. Of course, it can't guarantee that, but that's that's supposedly what those nootropics are supposed to do. Lion's mane in particular, and and yeah, man, I really want to try that Woo energy. I actually searched for it the other day. I was, you know, hoping I could stop by a a gas station or something and pick it up, but I don't think that energy drink is available in any stores yet. You have to pretty much order it online. So that's probably what I'm gonna do right now, actually, once I stop this recording. But yeah, man, what can I say? Yeah, Ric Flair was supposed to go to AEW anyway, like 2 years ago. It's something some people might not know, but Ric Flair was slated to arrive in AEW like 2 years ago to be the manager for his son-in-law, Andrade El Idolo. And of course, that fell through due to the Dark Side of the Ring controversy, which I covered, you know, in full effect 2 years ago. And so he was always in the eyes of Tony Khan. He was always on his radar and was supposed to be a part of AEW, but that fell through. And I think 2 years later, I think we could, you know, I don't know how to say it, man, without sounding insensitive. I mean, because nowadays everything is offensive nowadays. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure if I was actually famous, like not famous, but like if I was an actual popular content creator, my ass probably would have got canceled already for some of the shit I've said before. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure my ass probably would have got canceled already, but because I'm unknown, ain't nobody know me. Nobody cares. So everything's offensive, but I listen, man. I really think after 2 years, I think we're all over it now. I think we can move on. Like Ric Flair, he's made a lot of mistakes, man. He's made a lot of mistakes, and I'm not condoning what he did on that airplane, with that flight stewardess, and I'm glad she got paid, and I'm glad that she was also, in addition to that, I'm glad she was also able to express herself in that documentary. You've seen her cry, and she was able to let it all out, man. And I think she needed that. That was probably like what's the word, like cathartic, therapeutic. That was probably therapeutic for her too, that whole episode. So I think, man, I think we can move on from it though, and it is what it is. Shit happens, and Ric Flair's in AEW now. Apparently Tony Khan and co have moved on. I don't think Rick should be in any prominent roles. I don't think he's gonna wrestle. He shouldn't wrestle. If he does, I mean, they brought the Big Show out. Might as well wheel in Ric Flair too. Have him give some knife edge chops and call it a night. Nah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Big Show after this as well. But yeah, man. We'll see what happens. I just want to see Sting retire and Ric Flair raise up Sting's arm one last time, man. Give him a hug. Maybe give him another knife edge chop, friendly like he did when he arrived as the special gift from Tony Khan to Sting. That was kind of awkward. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, man. What can I say? Ric Flair is all elite. I just got to talk about Paul Wight, formerly known as the Big Show, apparently going to team up with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega to take on the Don Callis family. Bro, this is the most random ensemble I've ever seen in my life. Like, Big Show really sticks out like a sore ass fucked up thumb. Big Show came out. I know he goes by Paul Wight. I don't give a fuck, man. Big Show came out, and he looked like the Leaning Tower of Pisa on that stage. Like, he could barely stand on his two legs, dog. I don't know how. He ain't gonna take no bumps. He ain't gonna take a single bump, man. In this match going down in Ontario, California, on a Dynamite. I don't know if this is a Dynamite leading into Full Gear that I will be in attendance for. But, bro, Big Show ain't gonna take no bumps. If they tag him in, if he could even get in the ring, I guarantee you this is how it's gonna play out. I guarantee you. He's gonna punch somebody, knock them out. He's going to give somebody that big chop, where he would put someone in a corner and shush the crowd with his finger and then gives them that big old chop across the chest. That's literally all he's going to do. Watch. Mark my words. Mark my words. That's all Big Show's going to do. He's going to just sock some people and give some chops and call it a night. Unbelievable, man. There was rumors too about whatever happened to Goldberg potentially having a retirement tour with AEW. Remember, that was a big rumor leading into Wembley.
several months ago, bro, I would have been happy to see Goldberg, to be honest with you, because he is a big part of my childhood too. I can't lie. Goldberg was a big part of my childhood, and it would have been nice to be able to see him live. I kind of wish he was that big friend that Jericho called upon. But they really brought out the Big Show. I cannot believe it, man. I cannot believe it. So in the same week, in the same month, AEW brings out Ric Flair and the Big Show. And this is supposed to be the alternative, y'all. This is supposed to be, the alternative to WWE and being something different. And here we are. The Big Show wrestling in a main event in 2023 is you love to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for joining me on the highlight reel. Just a quick recap and all my reactions and responses to the things that have been happening in the world of pro wrestling and beyond. Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou, still very much so excited what's to come of that. Apparently, that Tyson Fury bout with Usyk was supposed to go down in December. And Tyson Fury, he was adamant, too, about it going down in September. And then Tyson Fury pretty much postponed it and said, I'll see y'all next year. Happy New Year. We're going to do it next year instead. And, of course, the speculation continues on if Tyson Fury is going to go through with the bout or if he's just going to, close up shop, exit stage left. And like I said in that recording, I wouldn't blame him. I would do it. If I was Tyson Fury, I would hang him up right now, so I could retire undefeated. I have a hefty, paycheck to rest on, and he's got nothing left to prove. I know everybody's shitting on Tyson Fury now, but in the Deontay Wilder fights alone, just those by themselves, he proved what he's all about. Because Deontay Wilder his power is special. I was going to say he's a special fighter, but he's not a special fighter. It's his power that's special. Deontay Wilder has a different kind of power. It's like that Mike Tyson level power that can end fights like that. And he put Tyson Fury down on his ass with one of those powerful shots. And when you're as big as Tyson Fury, it's hard to get up. Like, it's harder than the normal person, than the average person to get up. Like, even just him getting out of bed in the morning, you already know he probably struggles. He probably has to take a deep breath. Like, all right, 1, 2, that fool struggles to get out of bed. You already know. I wouldn't doubt it. And so he proved he had heart. And he proved what he was all about in them Deontay Wilder fights. Because, normal people should not be able to get up from power shots from Deontay Wilder, who has killer power, man. Killer power. He's not even that good of a fighter, to be honest. He's not that good of a boxer. But his power is second to none. Next level. And I'm still excited for Francis Ngannou. Incidentally, Francis has been pleading with Usyk to not go through with the Tyson Fury fight and instead fight him, as Francis Ngannou believes truly that he won the fight, as do a lot of people. A lot of people believe he won the fight. So it's interesting, man. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. I highly doubt Usyk would, decide to fight Francis instead of Tyson Fury. There's more money to be made against Tyson Fury, I'm pretty sure. But nonetheless, very impressive stuff. Very impressive stuff. And, once again, guys, I want to thank you very much for joining me. And, let's go into 2024 with a clean slate. We're going to do it big, bigger, and better than ever. And let's have a good one. So, live life on cruise control. Because sometimes you get farther when you take it slow. Tip your waitresses, tip your Lyft drivers. I'm out.